What's up, everybody? Long time no see. My name is Connor, and today we're back with another video. This morning we've got another pool here in Atlanta, Georgia. We've got a pool and spa combo with the vanishing edge. This is the job that I've been working on for about an hour this morning, and it looks like I found the issue. So while I'm testing the rest of the pool, I thought this might be a good day where I can show you how a swimming pool leak detection professional finds a leak in their customer's pool. So this morning we're going to go through all the steps that we use. There's 4 steps. There's listening with our hydrophone, there's dye testing, there's pressure testing, and then there's a visual inspection. So this morning we're going to go through each of those steps, and I'll explain to you how we perform those on a customer's pool. Let's get started. All right, guys, so to get started with this first step of our leak detection process, anytime we get to a customer's home and start our leak detection, we always begin with either listening with a hydrophone or dye testing. So you see in this video here, we're starting with our hydrophone. And the reason we use this and why the hydrophone is so helpful and probably the #1 compass for our leak detection process is the fact that whenever a swimming pool is going to leak, we're trying to find where that current of water is leaving that structure. Because wherever that water is leaving, it's going to produce an audible noise. And that's where our hydrophone is going to come into play. And really the greatest benefit of the hydrophone is not just the microphone itself, but after doing this for years and years, you start to build up a knowledge bank of every different type of noise a swimming pool is going to make when it's leaking, whether it's a crack in the concrete, a leak in a customer's light, a tear in a liner. All those things are going to make a different noise. And so you really have to get some experience and time using the hydrophone to understand what you should or should not be listening to. After using the hydrophone, what we do is we move on to the dye test. We always start from the surface because we want the water to be as still as possible. If you're trying to dye test your swimming pool, any kind of water movement's really going to make it difficult for you. But as you see here, we typically start by dye testing the skimmer throats and just work our way around the pool. As you're doing that, you can also check your pool return lines, all of your plumbing lines. Sometimes you're going to have a siphon that might confuse you where it looks like a plumbing line could be pulling in dye, but it's really just circulating through the plumbing line and getting pushed out another. Same thing as here with your plumbing lines as well. We're just checking our skimmer plumbing. With the dye test as well, guys, one note is that if you're trying to dye test, you really don't want to have a giant puff of red dye or a cloud of dye. And I didn't do a very good job of showing that in this video, but if you're going to have a giant cloud of dye, it can sometimes make it really difficult to understand if you're looking at a leak or not. After you dye test your skimmer throats, your return lines, when you're inside the pool, one of the main culprits that you always want to check is your light. Obviously, make sure you turn off the power to the light before you check it. But this one here, it had butyl tape, so it was plugged up and sealed nice and tight, and this light conduit was not leaking. But then you also want to check the structure, so like the housing and especially this front rim. We see where this front rim on these lights will start to leak quite often. So you just want to be thorough, check that conduit, check the light housing. Here I'm just dye testing in front of a plumbing line again. This is going to be easier if you can dye test as much as possible from the surface, because like I mentioned, you really want that water to be as still as possible. And if you're dye testing while you're inside the pool, that's obviously just going to cause a whole bunch of water current that's going to be moving back and forth and make it difficult to understand what you're looking at. Now, after you dye test, what we're doing is we're going to start with our pressure test. And so we got our covers getting removed right here, and then you'll see in just a second we're going to start taking our pressure testing plugs, and we're just going to plug up every single plumbing line in a pool. So when we're pressure testing, what we're doing is we're plugging up both sides of a customer's plumbing line in their pool. So we're plugging on the main drain here. We do the same with the return lines, with their skimmers, a spa jet, spa drain. We want to make sure that we have every single plumbing line plugged before we start pressure testing. And then once we do that, we're going to go to our customer's equipment, which you're going to see in just a minute. And what we're going to do is we're going to start filling that plumbing line up with water. And what we typically try to do is build that plumbing line up to about 12 or 15 PSI. And our general rule of thumb is if that plumbing line stays at 15 PSI for about stays at that PSI for about 1 or 2 minutes, and it only loses, say, 1/4 pound or 1/2 pound of pressure, we typically assume that plumbing line is going to be fine. But if we do have a plumbing line that we pressure test and it's losing a 1/2 pound, or if it's losing multiple pounds of pressure over the course of a minute, then we can typically assume that plumbing line is most likely going to be broken underground. So you see our inflatable injection plug right here that we're getting put into the customer's skimmer. And then we have our pressure gauge that is connected to, and you'll see we'll just build that PSI up to about 15 PSI. And like I said, we're just gonna let it sit there for about a minute or 2 minutes and make sure that it either holds pressure. If it holds or barely goes down, then we know it's good. Then after pressure testing, our final step and our fourth step is gonna be a visual inspection. So when we're taking a look at an attached spa too, we typically prefer to drain the spa completely empty into the pool. The reason we do that is for the Pebble Tech, because when that Pebble Tech gets nice and dry in that customer's spa, it's going to make structural damage like a crack running through the shell much easier to see. Then you have your plumbing lines again. When you're dye testing or inspecting a customer's pool, you really want to check and see if you have any kind of separation around these PVC plumbing lines. These are supposed to be filled with hydraulic cement, and here you have the skimmer throat. And when a skimmer throat's installed, when a pool is being built, that also gets filled with hydraulic cement, but over time that just erodes and degrades and will start leaking around those pipes and that skimmer throat, and even on this front piece of tile here. With your visual inspection too, you really want to try to cover every square inch, because if there is a crack in that customer's pool, sometimes it can be almost invisible to see. So you really just want to go back and forth. We've got an underwater flashlight that we can use if we need to have it. And then here you're going to take a look and you're going to see where I actually found the problem, which was in fact a crack in the customer's pool. So we have a small trace of it right there. And then as we start making our way down, we have a spot where that crack was a little bit easier to see, and we'll come back to it in a minute. Here again, you just have your Polaris line, you have your main drain line. Same thing with your main drain as well. Typically, if there's a leak in your deep end or around the bottom of your pool, when you listen with your microphone, it's going to be quite a bit easier to hear, because you have all that water weight and that pressure forcing water out of that leak. So it's normally going to be pretty obvious, but the same thing, you just want to be very thorough, check around all these pipes. You want to see if there's any kind of separation or damage that could cause the pool to be leaking there. There's a shot of your boy trying to get the thumbnail for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Same thing again, we've got the return line for the vanishing edge basin. We want to dye test all around where this fitting is starting to butt up with that Pebble Tech. We want to see if there's any kind of separation. Now we're getting back to the problem that we found in this customer's pool, which was a structural crack, and they had cracks on both sides of their spa. So you see where it starts at the top of the pool, and then it runs all the way down to the floor of this customer's pool. Towards the bottom, you can see it a little bit more easily. There's a dark jagged line. That's going to be the crack itself, and we're starting to get to the bottom of the pool here. Then what we do is we just try to take a step back and we show the customer that it's running from the pool tile all the way down to the floor. Then here we have the other side of the spa wall, and we have the exact same thing going on. We've got a trace of a crack with calcium bleeding out. Typically when you see calcium, the crack is not leaking yet, but it could be an indicator that there is stress being put on the pool shell there. Then you see that crack a little bit more clearly right here. Again, same thing, we're starting to get close to the pool floor. Then we take a step back and we show the customer that that crack is running from the pool tile all the way down to the pool floor. Then just the last thing we try to do is show the customer any kind of documentation that this crack was actually leaking. With these dye tests and with these Pebble Tech surfaces, it can be so hard to see that dye getting pulled in there. It's really much easier if you're working on like a vinyl liner pool where it's getting torn in, but we just want to document this for them if we can. All right guys, so that's it. That's the 4 steps that we use to find a leak in any customer's swimming pool. To quickly recap them, we always start with either 1, listening with our hydrophone, or dye testing. After we do those 2 preliminary tests, then we move on to pressure testing. And our last step is diving in, scuba diving in the pool, and visually examining the entire structure of that customer's pool. But if you enjoyed the video, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and do me a huge favor, smash the subscribe button. And if you have any more questions about our leak detections, how we do our jobs, let me know in the comments below. If you will have anything you're wondering about the techniques that we specifically use, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to answer them, or I'll try to make a video about it in the future. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.